Hello.
Hello.
Hiya. You right?
Yeah, I, I'm doing what you did. I'm using my phone as the camera.
I've gone back to the computer this week. It looks good. It looks very good, actually.
Um, oh, I'm stressing. I've got a 10-minute gig. I've put it all together and I got 8 minutes.
Just waffle. You'll be fine.
I know. It's like, here's the joke. All right. Yeah. It's,
Just pause for 10 minutes while you all laugh.
I mean, I'm assuming that was for the jokes.
You cracked up ever so slightly then.
Oh,
I
don't
do,
talk.
sorry. It's not my fault. Don't shout at me. Shout at your Wi-Fi. What a pain.
I'll give it one more try. Cracks up. I'll move to my other.
Yeah.
But so how have you been, lovely girl?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very excited today because my friend's little boy, who's not little, 16 years old, got his GCSE results today. So congratulations to Sam Humphreys because he got the grades he needs to go to sixth form and he did do brilliantly. So chuffed for him. But it did bring back my post-traumatic stress disorder from my own not so successful GCSE results day. I did get an A in two Bs, but I got the A in drama, and no one gives a shit about drama, so did not go well, and had to go to college and get all the grades that I needed, basically, to live my life. But it was all right. It was okay. How was your GCSE
Uh,
results day?
Stressful as hell. Just a quick answer. Carlos is
Oh
my son.
yes, hi Carlos. Hi
Hi,
Ray as well.
you are watching a comedy chat show with two her her
Other way, other way.
Lucy Orchard. And we have a little catch up, and then we have a comedy guest on today. We have Chicago comedian Dario Durham, and then in the third sections, we've got a review of Maria Bamford. So it's a chock-a-block show.
It's my favorite. I'm like, I love Maria Bamford so much.
You until the review section. We've got rules.
I know. Okay.
We've got returning fan.
Yay! I grew up my camel toe.
Hello.
I will decline that request, but hello.
Hugh Janus and Drew Peacock was watching the show as well, so we're picking up some really.
Whoop whoop.
So my GCSE, as we've discussed, I went to a private school, and I had one A, 6 Bs, and a C, and it
What was your A for?
It was the third worst results in the school, and they treated me like an absolute dickwad. I remember I was outside the building. We were all standing around before we went in to get our piece of paper. And I was about to go in, but I was just catching up with everyone. The results are going to be there.
Yeah.
Say hi to everybody. And one of my friends, when I say friends, the person I had to go to school with, her mother came up to me and started giving me sympathy treatment and asking if I was okay because she assumed I'd fucked up my GCSEs.
Oh, that's not very nice.
They weren't. But yes, I got one A, 6 Bs, and a C. And they all made me feel like I should hang my head in shame. And I have to say, they're very good.
Yeah, screw those people. Screw you people.
What are you doing? Fight me is what getting internet ideas from Shane Chevsby. These are my podcast brothers from the Weekly Bazaar.
Hello.
But what you tell me? What's your overall, like? How did you do in the school?
Terrible. I went to right. Okay. School, right. So I went to, for the first few months of my secondary career, I went to a school that it didn't really give a shit about the pupils as long as they were either good at sport or good academically. If you were just somebody that needed a bit of support and help and might have potentially have undiagnosed ADHD, hello me, you know, you were left. You were just I would have been gone down, down, down. Luckily, thank God, my mum went, right, she's moving. So, because my best friend at the time, Amanda Gallivan, we were like inseparable all the way through junior school. She was my sister from another mister. She lived next door to me. I was devastated when we split schools because her mum found Catholicism. So my mum went, right, well, clearly this isn't working out. We're going to send Sarah to the Catholic secondary school. And it did not have anything. It didn't have any, of the materials. It didn't have very good, it was didn't have all the, bells and whistles. It didn't have, nobody was winning anything. It was a ragtag bunch of misfits, but it
Yeah.
was the best experience, and I felt loved. I felt like the teachers cared about me. But as my GCSE geography teacher said, Sarah, you blow hot and cold. So if I loved a subject, I do really well in it. So I love drama, and I just lived for drama. I really weirdly loved RE, and I even said, I think I did it for attention, but I went, I'm going to be a nun. I was determined to get an A for my GCSE RE because I'm like, I'm going to be a nun, guys. Thank God the hormones kicked in, because I wouldn't have been a celibate nun, let's put it that way. And so I got a B for that. I got a B for my English language. I couldn't take my English literature because our teacher had a nervous breakdown and left the school, and I couldn't be asked. I was just like, oh, forget that. But I got an A for that in college. And my whole career, as a result of how awful my GCSEs, I mean, you just put through so much pressure. I feel for the kids, I really do. You put through pressure for about 2 to 3 years. When I was at school, anyway, it just really felt like your whole life hinged on these bloody exams. And now I'm like in my late 40s, you realize that actually, you know what, it really doesn't. You can, if you need to be academic, fine. You can always go back. It really shouldn't hinge on whether you're an intelligent person or not, because you have emotional intelligence, you have intelligence with your hands. Like, how many builders out there didn't do well at their GCSEs, but they are friggin' amazing master builders.
And rich.
And rich. Oh my God, would I love to be married to a builder or a plumber or an electrician.
If somebody said to me, you could become a plumber or a sparky, I'd want to do it.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, right? I don't know if I don't know if I told you this. I did a year woodwork
And they
in secondary. They wouldn't let me carry on because I was a girl, because of my boobs getting in the way of the bloody wood or something. No double entendres available there, are there? So yeah. Did you go to a Welsh school, Alex Whiteley? Which school did you go to? Were you North Wales or South Wales? Are you a Gog or are you?
Oh, Alex.
Alex says, I went to Welsh school.
Yeah, that would be up near Chepstow. This is one of my comedy friends, and I'm like, I mean, I've only done 17 podcasts with them. Why would I know this?
Do you know, I was friends with a comedian. It wasn't until we stayed over at his brother-in-law's house that I even knew he had a brother. And I'd known him for like 3 years. We just talked comedy the whole time, so I wouldn't worry about that, not knowing where he went to school.
Well, the thing with my school is because they wanted you to be a secretary or a doctor or a lawyer.
Bit of a gap.
So it was doctor, lawyer, secretary. Wrexham. I knew it was close.
So North Wales. Yeah, a lot of Welsh speaking in North Wales. Sorry, I'm just putting my.
So I didn't want to do anything that they wanted me to do, and and they would make you choose your GCSE options according to what universities would want. It was constantly driven to be in university. And I personally think that there are too many university courses and not enough vocational courses.
Yes.
I do remember we had a careers woman. I can't remember her name, which is quite good for libel. And she had this big tray of cards that told you what jobs they had and what their pay were. And you'd have to go in pairs, do a presentation on the jobs. So
Yeah.
when I say friend, girl who turned on me, and we went through and I found a card that said forklift operators and that they were on £10 to £12 an hour. Now in 95, that was a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
I want to do a presentation on forklift operator, and we got told off because we were taking the piss, apparently.
Oh, God.
But
It's awful, isn't it?
I became a forklift operator, but I did it with a telehandler and a counterbalance. Do you know what I mean? I went big plan. But the fact is, I did end up driving a forklift and making a lot of money on it.
Yeah, good for you. God, you know, that didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, they just wouldn't let us do that. And I remember I wanted to be a sound engineer, and my careers report card came back saying that I had unrealistic career aspirations. And then after my A-level results, the woman came up to me and she went, "Oh, I met somebody whose son was a sound engineer. Maybe it could have happened." So because you hadn't heard of anybody that was one before, no.
Yeah. That's awful, isn't it?
I when I do interviews and they say, "What do you think of school?" I like the building, but I don't like the teachers or the girls.
That's such a shame. I'm so sad that you had a bad secondary school experience.
Well, I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh, it's obvious that you're a private school girl because you're overconfident and you're so driven." But like I said to you, it's only because they kept telling me no. They kept saying no, 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 and I had to work around them to get where I was going. So they didn't instill confidence in me. They forced me to try and work around their small-mindedness.
Yes, but do you know what? Without that, you wouldn't be the I want to say my words aren't coming. You wouldn't be the person you are today. The ambitious person that you are today. Successful. Screw those bitches, is what I say.
You know, there's not a lot of truck drivers with degrees and PGCEs traveling around.
Well, isn't that interesting? I'd much rather talk to people that have lived an interesting life or have interesting outlooks. And you've lived an interesting life, you know, so school isn't everything. I think it is a shame. It does stick with you. Like it has stuck. Like I was talking to my friend the other day. I'm like, oh my God, it did stick with me. But you know what? I went into retail and I did so well that's when I got my self-esteem, because the trouble is when you're in junior school, you kind of put into a bit of a pigeonhole in junior school. There was a boy in junior school. I didn't know his actual name, until I bumped into him in a nightclub, and it was my early 20s, it might have been late teens. And he was an overweight child. So you can imagine his nickname was Podgy. I never knew his actual name. And I bumped into him and went, Podge, how are you? Because literally everyone called him that. And you just didn't know that he was really unhappy in school. He's never smiled. He just seemed to, but you don't realise you're only a kid yourself, and junior school at that. And I went, Podge, how are you? Because he was really well liked. I liked him. He seemed like a nice kid. And he turned around, my name's not Podge, it's Philip. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And you know, you can feel all the hurt and anger and what have you. And like for me, I didn't do well in, I think now I might have been, I don't know, statemented with something. I think possibly I always found it hard to concentrate, always wanted to talk to people, always wanted to have a bit of a laugh. No change there. I think maybe ADD or something like that. I don't know. couldn't concentrate. So I was stuck with that all the way through school. And then when I went to my secondary school as well. So going to a new secondary school gave me a chance to have a bit of a reinvention, really. And that happens again when you leave school, whether it's at 16 or 18, and again when you go to uni or you go into work. But I do wish, like, I don't know if things are different now, but I do really wish that vocational subjects got the same amount of stop saying squirrel to me, Ray, I will get distracted. I do wish that vocational qualifications have exactly the same kudos and the same level of awe as the academic subjects. And I tell you what, right, last year I had a learner who wanted to do their maths again because he wanted to retrain to be an electrician. And I looked at my GCSE maths because I didn't do well first time around. I've taken it like loads of times, and I'm just not got a maths brain. And when I've re-looked at the GCSEs now as an adult, like over 20 years later, I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's so much stuff. You only answer one or two questions, but there's so much volume of stuff that they want you to learn. You've got to know this bit of maths and, right. Are we having technical problems, Lucy?
What, with me?
Yeah, it's my end. It's just clicking. And I don't know if that's me or you. What do you think?
I think I'm going to...
Oh, she's off. She's really coming back in again.
Is that better?
I think so. Not really. Not really. I can hear myself back. I'll try turning my volume down again. This happens every week, doesn't it? I turn my volume down. It's not so bad then.
There we go. How's that? Is that better?
I was much better. Yeah, that's much better. I was
trying to be fancy, but it didn't work. You don't know these things until you try them. But for the Lucy show, it worked, so you never know. It's swings and roundabouts. But I everyone's going, oh, it's not fair the way they're grading them. Well, I got to be told that so you do your assignment, your exams, and then they mark them, and then they give them back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got told that because the previous years had been too successful, they were going to increase the grade boundaries. So I
don't understand this. I know. I was like, thanks, Carlos. 0 Carlos 202. That's very kind of you. Unless you're colourblind, do you think Lucy's the brunette?
Yeah. So say 70% would have got you a C in 94 or 95, sorry. In 96, that would only get you a D. So I got told that they were going to be making it harder for us to attain higher levels because the previous year had been too successful. So them going, oh, my grades aren't right. I was like, Q.
Yeah. I don't get that because they're fresh kids. They're new ones. It's not like you're retesting the old ones going, well, you know enough now. Let's make it. It should be the same level every year. It doesn't make sense.
It was quite an odd one to be told that we had to work harder to get anything. I was like, I don't like that.
No, that doesn't seem fair at all. I was the second year ever to do GCSEs, and I think which I'm quite pleased with because I think O levels are harder, but they didn't know what they were doing with us. They were like, you can have some coursework on this one, but no coursework on that one. And to me, GCSEs feel very much like, well, can you memorize a lot of stuff? It's not like, right, can you apply, if you're learning something practical, you learn it and then you apply it, don't you?
Well, I mean, you've got two teachers having a conversation here, so it is. Yeah. We are a little bit more analytical than most people, but I don't fare as well in sort of quantitative assessment like an exam. I'm much better with qualitative. I do better with coursework, but yeah, as a teacher, I believe in exams. So as a student, I don't fare well in them, but as a teacher, I do believe because, and I don't teach anymore in these secondary schools, so I can be quite candid. But I remember I was covering a GCSE class just before the end of year, having to give in their courseworks, and this one scrotum of a chaff said to me, "Oh, I know I fucked about for the last 2 years, miss, but I suppose I'll try now." And it was the week of the coursework. And I got the coursework sheet out and I looked at it, and it was the most insultingly easy assignment to do.
Right.
It was sort of like boil water.
Oh
What would
no.
you need? Bunsen burner and some test tube and some water, and what did you find? And just it was not exactly the critical analysis that they made us do in our school.
No.
And
What did you used to teach, Lucy?
chaps.
Well, yeah. What subject?
So I started off as an IT teacher, but unfortunately, I got bullied out of the school by the teachers in my school. Yes.
Miss.
Did you? Did you?
Miss.
Did you?
I'm an IT teacher too.
Ah.
Oh my god, we've got so much in common. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So I went long-term supply, as in not long-term one placement. I just did
Right.
extreme teaching. I loved it. I did 8 years of supply teaching. I bloody loved it. And
Why did you love it?
I loved it because it was like extreme teaching. It was, you would turn up to schools, the teachers wouldn't talk to you, the classroom assistants wouldn't talk to you. The kids were always given worse sets, worse behaviour. You wouldn't be given a key to the room. You wouldn't be given any work to do. The notebooks weren't there. If they had an interactive whiteboard, they wouldn't give me the lock on it in case I couldn't. So looked through the register and went, "Peterson, you're adopted." Fucking, it made you have to be like ninja.
Get in, throw education at them, and then get out again.
I still taught. I did it. I did everything. I made sure that those children learned during an absence of teachers. The only problem I got into was when they started replacing teachers with fake teachers. Because qualifications make you annoyingly expensive to pay for.
Right.
So I took on the government and went into plant work on sites and festival and production and stuff. Now that's what I did, but I couldn't. They wanted me to take £45 a day instead of 120 because they could hire somebody unqualified, and therefore I should be grateful for the work.
Oh my god.
And I'd say, well, a doctor wouldn't not be a doctor if you paid them secretary rates, like receptionist rate. If somebody came in bleeding, they wouldn't go, "I'm only paid to take the phones today."
Yeah.
So I
We'd be
can't
like, oh
not
mate,
teach you.
instead of £90,000 a year, we're going to give you £20,000 a year because we could just, scrape someone off the street. I'm sure they could do the same as a doctor, couldn't they? Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. But well, I've got to say, New Labour did it too. PCSOs, taxi drivers, and teachers all in the same week. They really did hate qualifications. But it's just one of those things. And I have a student loan, so I remember I went to university. But ultimately, being a truck driver or being a comedian doesn't need any of those qualifications. So what feels like the most important part of your life turns out to be the most insignificant. So buckle up, kids.
Yeah. So no matter what happens, if you're watching, if you've got family that maybe didn't get the grades that you wanted, I know lots of people say it, but honest to God, you go through your life, you get to your 40s, it's just part of life, isn't it? It's not that big a deal, really. And A levels, I don't think are that important unless you want to go to uni. So
I know. And I went to university. It was the university my grandfather went to, but it wasn't considered like the best university.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. you know, not often you get to walk past the phone box Tom Jones used to book his gigs on.
Yeah. Where did you go? Pontypridd?
Well, when my grandfather went there, it was Treforest Polytechnic, and then they got given a load of music. Hey, Hugh's here. So then
Thank
it
you.
turned into Morgan University.
Yeah.
And I had, and this is what really got me. You have dissertation meetings with your lecturers, and
Yeah.
I had every week I had a meeting with my lecturer, and he said I was doing fine, I was doing fine, I was doing fine. And then when I got my results through, he gave me a third, and I went, "Are you saying that in like the last week of this dissertation I had that?" Or we were just like
No.
lunching it out. I mean, we used to meet outside the building so we could have a fag. And sadly, I didn't argue the toss, which is what the kids can do with their results right now. If they're not happy with it, they can say, I want my results regraded. And I
Yeah.
should have. I really should have.
Yeah. I reckon that's one thing I've learned as an adult is if you kick up more of a stink, if you don't accept no for an answer, I think you get more in life. Whereas I tend to be like, oh, okay, fair enough, and walk away too much, I think.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah. Sorry,
Uh,
my
we're just looking at,
brother-in-law can hear us but
yeah,
not see us on Facebook, so I'm just sending him the link to Twitch.
I've just had a look and I typed in the kitchen dink. I have to say, sorry, it's there.
Yeah, so I don't know. It could be his internet. I don't know. I'm only repeating
As
what I
two
was
IT
told.
teachers, as two IT teachers, anything we can advise you to do is to turn your machine off and turn it back on again.
Yeah. Tell you what, that works for so much stuff. That
Oh,
really does.
I was rehearsing for the gig I've got tonight, so I sort of brought up Zoom and positioned the camera to make sure it was all working, and there was no camera. And I was like,
What?
no, this isn't an option. This isn't an option. This is, so I mean, I started like, so I pressed the button and it said, right, what you can do is you can restart your machine. And I was like, oh, f you. And it worked.
Brilliant.
so,
Oh, do you want to tell us
so
where this gig
hyperventilate.
is in case anybody wants to watch you, Lucy?
Ah, yes, okay, I can do that. That's a really good idea.
Just
Right,
a thought.
let me just,
I wonder.
in fact, this is what I can do. Info, so fancy pants. Oh, it's not there. I thought it was going to be there. I must have deleted it. But yeah, so it's the Tickled Pink. It is a paid gig.
Mm.
Let's have a look. So
Is this your first? It's not your first paid gig, is it?
no, I'm very big in Seattle.
So my first, what I considered paid gig, right? I got like £3 because she just gave me £3 for a drink, and I went, I've been paid, and I kept that £3 for about 6 years. It's
Well,
proof my
the
first
minute
ever paid gig.
the minute the lockdown turned up,
Mm.
I did a open mic night.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, 1 second. I just got people that think
That's all right.
shouting next to an open door.
Hi,
Someone's
Mrs.
broadcasting
Lucy.
by. Um, yeah, so there was a split bucket for the first online open mic night I did, and I got £5.77.
Ooh, that's not bad when you've got no outgoings apart from the internet.
Oh, I know. And then I've got let me see how much I can do. That's it. Tickled pig. I'll put the details in the chat. So people can log on if they would like to. So my friend just arrived and he's laughing at me through the door because he's not seen me do this pretend comedy before.
Do
No,
you want to
they're
come in?
really
Say hi.
happy. No, he's lurking. Tiny URL
This
dot
is your
com.
friend,
So,
turned out. He's going to have a bit of a wait. We're on for another hour and a half.
oh, I know. I got him for the weekend. It's fine.
All right.
Yeah, He's got another 2 shows to watch me do this weekend. Right, so there we go. So I put it in the chat, so it's on all of the platforms that it's popped up. So if you'd like to buy the tickets, it's there. So I did that, and then I did the 20-minute set for the comedy gig in Seattle, which was amazing. So this will be my 3rd paid gig. So by comedian standards, I'm either not a professional or I am.
That's an interesting discussion. I'm sure we can talk to Dario about that when he comes on. What makes a professional comedian? Because that seems to be something of a bit hot debate, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. I think if you earn money from a gig, that means you're being paid to do it. Therefore, you're a professional.
Mm. Well, let's think of it in terms of what about, I don't know, imagine if it's a different, if we're talking about a different career, if you're a paper boy or girl, for example, if you're not getting paid, you're an amateur paper boy or girl, isn't it? Or if you're, Dram Society, amateur dramatic, is because they're not putting themselves out as professional, they're not paid. They've
No, and the
stayed
money
as
will go back
amateur.
to the venue and the teas and biscuits and the costumes.
Yeah. So I don't get when people say, well, you're not professional if you haven't been paid. Now, the trouble is, I think in comedy, there are just different levels. And like you and me, we're both teachers, so we're a sucker for a qualification. But it's like, wouldn't it, I don't know, comedy's just developed so much in the last even 10 years, 20 years. Maybe it is time to say, right, if you're doing these things, you can consider yourself professional. Because like the old guard are all dying off. The ones that said, oh, you can't be the ones that put you down and all the gatekeepers and everything. We will have newer ones. You're looking a bit cheeky.
Well,
Right.
with equity, you've got to have made £500 from your art to be able to join.
Right. Equity.
So, yeah. So, because there was a discussion on one of the forums on what do you do with people that are joining competitions but don't meet the criteria, hypothetically.
Right.
And a woman came and said, oh, I'm in equity. We try to do it that the standards are there met. And I pointed out, well, sadly, if you are a new act, you won't have made £500 off comedy. Therefore, you can't sign up to equity. It's, the only people that can sign up to equity are the people that are pretending to be the new acts.
Yes. Oops. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you can't talk about it maybe because you are in competition. But yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, really. The people like, at what point are you a new act? Because there's so many acts out there. Like, I am a bit of a stickler for honesty, and I think, as in, like, at the end of the day, we're in show business, isn't it? And do you really want to see the backstage? Do you really want to know everything? But I'm just a bit of a stickler for it. I'd love to be able to, I should turn around and lie about how long I've been going.
Yes.
But people will go like,
that's what I've learned. I'm going to be a new act for the next 15 years.
yeah. Yes. And it's like, I'm like, okay, I've been going for like 11 years. Come December, it'll be 11 years, right? Or maybe 12, I'm not sure.
Reset.
Yeah. I mean, now, there's so many people. I'm like, I can't reconcile that with my morality. I can't do it. I'm not saying I'm holier than thou because it's stupid. It's stupid from a comedian business perspective. It would make a lot more sense to bugger off for a few months, come back and say, oh yeah, I've only been going 2 months. But
yeah,
as someone who has seen a gabillion new act, new material nights because of running Rough As, you can fucking tell. Sorry for the effing, but you can tell. If you're listening to this to learn English, I just swore, but it's a really bad swear. But you can just, if someone just rocks up and they just do a fantastic 5 minutes and they're word perfect and they're just fantastic, and I'm like, straight away, I'm like, right, okay, I'm Googling some of the jokes to see, right, have you nicked these jokes? And then I'm like, okay, how long have you been going? No, but really, really, how long? Oh, only 6 months. Oh, really?
I
Really?
got gifted a joke last night.
Oh, that's nice. Was that you can have this, or was it a proper one? Is it a decent one, or is it one that you're like, oh, no, really? Are you sure?
Yeah, because
Thanks for letting me have this shitty joke.
no, I made a comment about a joke a couple of weeks ago, maybe even
Yeah.
a month ago, that this comedian had done because it was about trucks.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I said, "How dare you do a joke about trucks? That's my territory." We're just laughing and joking. I really was just winding him up, and he's a long term comedian. We were just joshing each other.
Yeah.
And then he said to me last night, he said, "Oh, I've done it a couple of times. I can't. It just doesn't fit right with any of my sets. Have it." And I was like, "Okay."
Nice. Just got to make sure it definitely is his joke and not, you got to Google the shit out of that if you're not sure
Well,
where
I
it's
mean,
come
there's
from.
not a lot of truck driver jokes.
Do you want to say the joke?
Well, it's a play on the fact that he so it was a friend of ours from the drop, and it was about how men need to secure their load. And it's only a simple little thing, but I've turned it into.
That's an old Billy Connolly joke. Sorry, Lucy. I've heard it.
What? Did you do trucks? Did Billy?
I'm
So
really
I
joking.
changed it to men need to secure their loads, otherwise, lady, you'll be delivering something in 9 months.
Very
See?
good. Yes, like it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we've got a man that's stressing out, and he's here.
Is he in our dining room?
Dario was running. He's running late. The dining room now. So, just in case he escapes again, let's bring him straight in. So we've got the delightful, the delectable, the delicious Dario.
What's happening?
Hey!
Man.
Hi!
Oh my goodness. Thanks for having me. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, man. I had to get my hair cut and the traffic is bad. So
Oh, excuses.
yeah,
Well,
I know.
go down a bit. Let's see this gorgeous hair. Oh,
Oh
it
yeah,
looks nice.
Check me out. I got lined up. I'm good. I
Oh,
just
very smart. Is that your first COVID haircut?
No. Don't tell anybody, but I've been getting my hair cut all during. It's been safe though. It's been safe.
But over here, I know there were definitely people sitting in their gardens. There were little old ladies sitting in their gardens going, I can't cope with my haircut.
Hey, haircut is essential. I'm sorry, that's essential. I mean, especially me, I'm a black man. Hey, that's an essential thing. You know what I mean? I got to stay fresh.
Well, it's definitely a thing. It's like, I mean, I've noticed over here as well, men's haircuts, that men are getting very swish with their look.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Of
It's
men going, actually, I'm a big fan of men getting oppressed by the beauty magazines as well. So we've had that for many years.
I wish
Welcome to our world.
I wish I could be a part of a beauty magazine or something. You know what I
mean? Well, I put you on the front cover of Vogue, Dario, any day of the week.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that.
That's okay. That could be your quote for Edinburgh next year.
Absolutely. I'm with it.
Welcome.
That's a really bad.
What's that?
Can I just jump in? That's a really valid point. So we over here have a comedy festival every year, except this year, called Edinburgh Fringe Comedy Festival. It's sort of known worldwide. And then you've got the Montreal Just for Laughs, is it?
Yep.
Festival.
Yeah.
Is there a festival in Chicago? I mean, Chicago is quite big. So would you say there is an annual comedy event in?
No. There's nothing. I mean, there are things out there, it's a bunch of different things that they do. That's here in the city. But it's more, it's kind of hard, especially me. I'm newer in this, 3 years in the game here in Chicago, in the comedy scene, stand-up scene. But they've had like little events here and there. There's a bunch of pockets of things. So nothing like the Montreal Fest or anything like that. However, if I'm trying to put together something and create something for artists, but all I need is a date, and that date is hard to come by. Is the space I need can't free up a date fast enough, but I do have something that's brewing. So yeah,
Oh.
we're gonna. I don't
See,
know
I
how big
thought-
it'll be. Yeah, I don't know how big it'll be, but I'm definitely I'm putting something together.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's
So
always got something.
Can you tell us a bit about your what's it? Where are you? First of all, I want to feel a picture in my mind of where you are and like what's the scene like where you are.
So I'm here in Chicago, on the north side of Chicago. That's a lot of the comedy happens around the city, and to be honest with you, this last month, it's kind of a mixed bag. A lot of people are starting to open back up and come back out. There are, if you include the show that I have, there are 4 kind of like buildings, so to say, that are doing something. And then there's this one open mic, which is actually really cool. It's called Out in the Open Mic. They're run outdoors. So it's really like 5 entities that are live in the city limits, I would say. Now, outside the city limits, there's other things going on too. And I'm sure there's more things in the city going on as well. But of that I know of, there are those are kind of like the big ones that's happening all the time. So, but it's hard to tell. You know, like I've had some success. Last night was my 6th week live again. And
Wow.
yeah, and it's been fun. It's been very fun, successful shows. And we started live streaming them last week. So this is the 2nd week that they've been live streamed. So it's, you know, I don't want to say it's fully back, but we are definitely taking some big steps with open mics coming back and showcases coming back. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. I can't wait to get back out there, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people feel the same way.
So
You know, and go ahead, Lucy.
This isn't the reason I had done, but from the pictures that you've taken at Buddy's comedy bar, they are mind-blowing. And we discussed this a little bit on the other with me, Big World, but they took on the bar and they went, what's the safest we can make this venue? Let's go over the top. And you've got glass partition between all of the seating areas. Were you going to have a glass partition in front of the MC?
No.
In front of the comedians?
Nope. We have, so the way it's kind of set up is that we're about 9 feet away on each side of like the little square, we call it, the comedian distance box. So we have about 9 feet on all the sides of the box there. So you really aren't close necessarily to the people and to the audience. And even on the left and right sides, there are the partitions are up there. So if you look to your left and your right, there's really no real opportunity for any kind of, projection from the mouth or anything like that. So it feels really safe. Everybody that comes through says the same thing. They say, hey, this is probably the best that we've seen it done. And that's an honor. It's an honor to have it that way. But like you said, Lucy, they took us forever to think about that kind of layout and how we wanted to do it and just to make me feel safe too. You know what I mean? Like and my buddies is on the line, you know what I mean? They're a whole entity themselves. So like one false move and, it can all come crashing down. So a lot of people have things at stake. So that's why we took the extra precaution to make sure we do it the best way we possibly can.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, this is fascinating as well. Over here, we have been given a government warning, ruling. So with any comedy gig that goes on, it can only happen if the comedians are professionals, which means that open mic nights are not allowed.
Yeah. That's, I can understand that because for me, I have open mics that I ran live and I don't have a right way in my head mentally or visually I could see bringing that back with keeping people safe. Because the big thing for me is obviously safety, but then the experience, I don't know. An open mic should be anybody can come. You just have fun and you hang out and you mingle, you talk. And when you have, and during these times, I think safety takes precedence over that experience. And to me, if you can't have that experience, you just can't have an open mic. And I respect everybody else that's doing it, but like I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't bring it back and have that same energy that I know I have. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Well, I mean,
I want
the
everybody
word
to
open mic.
My open mic.
yeah.
Well, I mean, open mic no longer means turn up. Right?
No,
The term open, you know, I mean, I'm sure, like, I mean, I know that in like maybe an old pub I went to, like in the mid-90s, you know, you'd go there and anyone could turn up and put their name down and play a song or sing a song. But an open mic is an organised list of acts that are going into the order that the MC or the arranger has made it. So, I mean, I understand that bit. But, I mean, I'm wondering whether or not you can just get everyone to prove they've earned.
Yeah.
They've earned something.
Honestly, I thought about that because like I thought about a way to bring it back and stagger the people with the capacity. So, you know, I thought about some different techniques to bring it back and make it kind of interesting, but I don't know. I do a lot of work already, and that I'll be honest. This will probably be the laziest thing you ever hear me say. So everybody listening, this is the laziest thing you ever hear me say. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's too much work. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, Lucy, run some open mic nights, and you know where we're coming from.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Hard work. It's a lot harder work running an open mic, even if everyone's booked. It's so much more hard work than just running a pro night. Yeah,
I can't do it. I can't do it. Like I'd rather run a show, you know what I mean, where it's kind of scheduled and you know what's up. But open mic is just a mixed bag. It's just, you know, like, and how are we supposed to turn people away? Like, I cannot turn anybody away that wants to get their artwork out. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. That's a hard thing to do. And those, you know, open mic nights, they can go, you can have 40, 50 people a night. So it's like, I don't want to be.
Especially in America, it's a bit different in the UK. Like, oh my God, with Refaz, if you have 12 to 13, they're all panicking and going, how have you got so many acts on? I'm like, calm down, guys. You're all doing 5 minutes. We'll get through it. Don't panic.
Whew.
But yeah, 12 to 15 is the absolute limit over here.
Man,
we have to book them.
I would love a 12 person mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Done in an hour.
Yeah, I think the last mic we had, if I remember correctly, we had like 43 people come up, you know, like, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
like an explosion do you think it's like an explosion of people wanting to do comedy, even more so now than even when I started 10 years ago? It just was like in the last 5 years or so, or do you think it's always been that way?
I think for Chicago, we're kind of like the mecca of like comedy world. So it's easy to be influenced by what you see, what's around you, your surroundings. We are comedy. So any bar you go into, any restaurant you go to, any club, there's a chance that you might run into a comedy show. So if you're influenced, we're like kids influenced by the parents. You know, if you see what they do all the time, you kind of want to do it, you know? So I think that's part of it. But now what I'm realizing is now with quarantine and COVID, all that happening, it's a mixed bag. You got people that are like, all right, well, I'm done with it. You know, let me move on. And then you got people that are like, well, I guess I got nothing else to do. Let me try it. so it's like,
I'm living my dreams. I could die tomorrow.
Yeah. You get like a bunch of fresh faces now. Like the some of the older folks and the known faces are moving out, and you got the newer faces moving in. Which is really weird. It's very weird. Because I'm sure you all probably heard, but like a lot of people come to Chicago to pursue comedy. So with nothing happening, you know, it's kind of like a waste. Let me go back home, you know. So it's a sad thing because you don't want anybody's dreams to be hurt. But you know, when you know as well as I do, if I go back home, I'm not coming back out.
I think with the lockdown, I think it's made me realize there's more than one way to do comedy.
Yep.
I always just, my aim has always been to be a really good stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Never bothered about being on TV or promoting myself, even, as Lucy knows, because she's always telling me off for not promoting myself for the show. But I just always just want to be really good at comedy. To me, it's just quite a hard thing to do, to be original, to be, to be funny anyway. I love it.
Yeah.
But,
That's same thing I had. Like, I don't really have a desire to be on TV or anything like that. If I am on TV, I want it to be for charity work or community work. You know what I mean? Using the platform that I have. And if a joke comes across, that's cool too. But I just want to be good at what I do. You know what I mean? I just want to be good at what I do and give people opportunities. That's really the name of the game for me.
Yeah. So how long have you been going, Dario? Tell us a bit about what your, for want of a better word, journey.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I started comedy as a whole with improv back in 2016. I went to Chicago's Second City, and I did that for about a year, improv. And then right after that, I took a class for stand-up. That was about 2017. And after that, it's been a wrap ever since. I've been doing stand-up since 2017. And it really took off.
Really?
Yeah, it really took off October of 2018. I actually said to my my ex at the time, I said, hey, look, because I was living in the suburbs, not in the city. And I told her at the time, I'm going to go crazy this month with all the comedy shows. I'm going to do all the open mics I can. I'm going to go to the city as much as I can just for this 1 month to see if I really like this, if I like to travel back and forth. And that month I think up until that point, I was doing like maybe 3 shows a month. In that month, I did like 3 to 4 shows a week. So I like really like quadrupled everything that I did. And that next month, November of 18, is when I got the big break. I got the opportunity that I kind of worked for. Laugh Factory here, there was a competition. They were at the tail end of the competition. It was a year-long competition, and I was the November winner. I went. It was a competition. I won 2 weeks back to back, and then I made it to I won December, and then I made it to the finals in January of 2019. And at that point, it was kind of like La La Land, because now I'm like thrown into the mix of the Chicago comedy scene, and I've been doing comedy for a year and a half, and nobody knew who I was. So now I'm on the scene, and people are like, "Hey, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? How long you been doing it?" I'm like, got to tell the story again, and and at the same time, I'm being humble here, but I was killing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was winning the competition, so it felt good to be on the scene. But that's my story, kind of like how I got started. And from there, I just got the opportunity to be the host of the show that I run at My Buddies. And I mean, that's just a whirlwind of a story, because I didn't even want to be a host. I didn't even want to do anything like that. I just wanted to, like you said, I want to be good at what I did, and man, here we are.
Yeah. It's all helpful though, isn't it? It's all good experience.
Yeah, I mean, this whole experience is still, to me, like, it's almost like a dream. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow, this is crazy, because I remember, and I tell a lot of people this, I remember sitting here on the south side of Chicago as a little boy, just looking up into the ceiling saying, I want to be somebody in Chicago that people know, and this, that, and the other, and yada, yada, yada. And that back then, that was just a dream as a kid, and I'm a dreamer, so I still look at this, like, even sitting right here and talking to you all from across the pond, this is all unreal. I see Hugh Janis is asking me about Breckenridge, like that kind of stuff is fun. And by the way, Breckenridge was really dope, but that air is thin up there. I don't know, I can't do it. My legs do hurt. But all this is really cool, and it's just a dream come true for me, really.
Yeah, no, it's clearly, things seem to have happened quickly for you, because I know that, for some people they could be plugging away for years and years and years, and then nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
So what's it like getting gigs where you are? Is it hard? Is it easy over here? It feels like it's quite difficult.
For me, it's easy because I run the shows. So
right. I think I whipped myself a headliner.
Yeah, I put myself, but I think when you look at the overall picture of Chicago, if we take COVID away from it, it could be a challenge. It could be a challenge to get on some of the bigger name shows, so to say. There's like a trial and error that you have to kind of go through. So that could be a little bit tough. But if you put in the work, the places like Laugh Factory, Zanies, Comedy Bar, they'll put you up. If you put the work in, even me, you don't have to put a lot of work in with me, but if you got a show that you really want to do it and you'll respect the show, I'll definitely put you up. But it's a trial and error. It's just you got to work hard, and a lot of people fail because they don't want to put in that effort. And as long as you put in the effort, you'll get the opportunities. And 4 years and I'm doing things I never thought I would do. So
yeah. So imagine where you're going to be in the next 4 years, isn't it?
Man, I can't even think that far ahead. Like this, I can barely think about what's going to happen after this.
Yeah. So you've had your haircut, so you don't need to be going and get your haircut.
Yeah, no, haircut good.
I've just noticed your T-shirt, Dario.
Oh yeah. The blue genies are out. This is Laughter is Good for the Soul. This is the debut number one album.
There we go.
The number one album.
Number one album.
Awesome. So tell us the name of it again so we can find it. I know it's on Spotify, but where else?
Yeah, Laughter is Good for the Soul. Available everywhere, digitally. So really dope. That album, that was like that's probably the highlight of my comedy career. Like, I don't want to quantify because I've had some fantastic moments, but I would say that's probably number one right now. Just because it just seemed like something that was so far-fetched that I never thought it would happen. I'm happy for everybody that was involved. Could
you tell us a bit about it? Because for those of you, because we might, I know we have listeners all over the world. Mm-hmm. So tell us, like, how did it come about? Tell us from the beginning.
So you won't believe this, but it was a joke. It started out as a joke. This is our second album, and the first album we spoke this into existence. Started out as a complete joke. Okay, it started out. And it was supposed to be. I had this thing when I was going through those competitions at Laugh Factory in late 2018. We came up with this phrase that because nobody know who I was, I can hit them with so many jokes that they wouldn't even know. And so my buddy Dario said, "Man, hit them with the mixtape." And I was like, "Oh, mixtape, that's it." And that was the jet fuel I needed to kind of go through. So we fast forward to later on in 2019. Right around summertime, I'd say June, July-ish. And I look at Dario and I say, "Hey, I should just drop an album. Let's just drop an album. And we'll call it. Yeah, we'll call it a mixtape." And he was like, "Hey man, I'm with it." I was like, "I don't know what we're doing, but let's drop an album. Everybody else is dropping an album. We can do it." And the next day I said, "Hey, Darren, I got an idea. How about we make it like a compilation album where we do multiple people in the city?" And he said, "Okay." And then the day after that, I said, "No, I got a better idea." And I said, "Why don't we make it music, comedy, and some of me with everybody on it?" And that was how the first album came out, to be like a compilation. And we threw the whole party, and it was an art piece. So we wanted to be like art, where when we had the party, everybody that performed on the album performed live, and they were in a gallery style setting at my buddy's. So that was the first album. Then the second, and we planned at the time of the first album, we already planned 3 total albums because we said you do things in 3. So the second album we even got the title for the third album already too. So the title was already picked out. We knew Laughter is Good for the Soul was going to be number 2. And when that came out, quarantine hit. And we just lost our producer. And at the time, we had nobody to figure out how to help us produce this album, but we said we were going to do it. We committed to it. And I just told Darren, I said, "Hey, man, I'll learn how to produce this album. Like, we'll get it out." And so that's exactly what I did. I learned, I downloaded Logic Pro X. I sat with another great band. Honey Butter is the name of the band. I sat down with the guy who engineered their album, and he messaged me, he talked to me, he screen shared, he showed me how to do things, and I learned it. and we put the album out. I just said, there we go. And all of a sudden it went number one. Like that's probably the craziest thing of it all, is that it actually did well. So
where did it go number one? Was it like an Apple or iTunes?
It went on iTunes, Apple iTunes. It went number one in the comedy category. And
wow.
And based on the numbers, I don't know how to get the numbers, but just looking at the numbers, I think that it went number one on Spotify as well. Because Spotify, at the same time Apple went number one, Spotify had the same exact numbers. And sometimes, and it was better in some cases. So I was like, man, did we just go number one on both? So I can't confirm Spotify, but I could definitely say we went number one on iTunes. So
wow, that's so impressive. Yeah. Well done.
You know what? Also, and it was number two. It debuted number two over in the UK. So it debuted number two on iTunes. So we had a buddy that was over there, and he messaged us at the screenshot of it and said, hey, you all are number two. So that was pretty cool.
Oh wow! How impressive was that?
I really loved your stuff, but Amber Audrey is brilliant. I think she's absolutely amazing. Well done for having a woman on there.
I guess I could say. I could tell you right now. I'll tell everybody here. We got a special album that's going to drop right now. Not right now, but next year it's going to drop. Yeah, it's an international women's album that we're working on, and so it'll be all women artists on there, and your very own Lucy is actually on the album. So
go Lucy!
Yeah, it'll be so fun.
I haven't told anybody.
Well, now we told everybody. The cat out of the bag. It'll be really fun. Yeah, I'm so excited for it. The advertising, we got the plans to advertise, and it's going to be ambitious because we got multiple folks from around the world. We have multiple people from around the United States, and then several from Chicago. So we kind of got 3 waves of people, and trying to manage it all. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's, it's supporting women, but it's also it's ambitious.
Yeah,
I love it. So good. Well done.
I think the everything I've been through with comedy and just life in general has just kind of told me there's nothing that's too far. There's nothing that's unattainable. It's just how much work you want to put in. And, for me, this isn't work, this is fun. This is fun to be able to create and not only just give people opportunity, but like meet people, you know what I mean? Like listen to people's comedy and all share that same story. Because when this album is all done, there's going to be 15, 16 different people that now know each other and can share the same story. So to me, that's the beauty of it all, is when we can say, hey, look, I work with Lucy across the world. I work with Anchal across the world. I work with somebody in Oregon here in the States. Like that kind of thing to me is just really cool to kind of just conceptualize and think about and then put it into real life. So I'm excited for it.
I think
it's very similar.
Amazing.
Sarah and I, we've never met. Sarah and I have never met. We only met online through a virtual open mic night, the one that Sarah runs, that you've been to as in Swansea. So, I mean, it really is. I mean, I go a bit sort of waxing lyrical, but just because we're locked down, comedians became tech gurus and all ran to the ones and zeros to keep making sure that we can perform. And what I find fascinating about comedy albums is we don't really have that many comedy albums over here.
Right.
I personally do. I mean, I know that
it felt like it never really was a thing for us in the same way that it was for Americans.
Yeah.
Is Peter Cook and Dudley Moore?
Oh, yeah.
Peter Cook and Dudley Moore would do recordings, LPs, actual hard pressed 12-inch LPs, and that really was the comedy album that I know of in our history. Over here, I listen to comedy all the time, but it's because I listen to either comedy podcasts or I listen to radio comedy shows. And Radio 4, our big radio station over here, does a lot of comedy. And I particularly, I'm in love with the radio shows from like 1950s, 1960s. But I find it fascinating that in America, comedy albums are huge.
Yeah,
absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's a big thing here. I want to create like another category though. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, when I release the album, you have to classify it as what is it, and it goes under the comedy category. But again, I'm gonna go back to the experience. For me, it's all about the experience, and like when you listen to an album, and this is just how I think. When I listen to an album, especially a comedy album, it's hard to sit through 10 to 15 tracks of just people telling jokes. And so I think it's really cool to break up that monotony a little bit with some music and some other form of entertainment. So when you listen to the albums that we've produced, they're not just straight comedy. You get music, you get some entertainment, you get some breaks in the action, and then you go back to it. And I really want to create a new comedy because I don't think that there's anybody doing what we just did. So
I've not heard of it. So it's exciting.
Yeah, so I think we're creating something new here, and I hope people take to it. I hope that there's more things like this where we can like do more comedy and music and spoken word together all in one album, because that's art. That's art, and that's talented people putting together something. It's not just comedy; it's just art. You know what I mean? So I guess that's my music.
On Laughter Good for the Soul, there are music songs, like actual real music songs that actually get stuck in your head.
Yeah.
And you're like, listen again and then. Over here, even though we don't do a comedy album, have a comedy number one. If you do a comedy song, you can get, got Fat Bears and Spitting Image and all those sort of songs. Stonk. Hale and Pace doing Stonk was number one for fucking ages. We don't do comedy albums, but we do have a comedy song, whereas yours is actual music and then comedy.
Yeah. We do actual music. So, and I think the first time that it happened, it threw people off, because I think a lot of people said, "What the heck? What was that? Like, was that?" And it's very ambitious of us. We started the second album out with an actual song. So I think when you say, "Hey, look, this is a comedy album we just released," and then you hear an actual song that has nothing to do with comedy, it's like, okay, now we got your attention. What's going on here? And who knows if that played a part of the success, but I know I'm definitely going to keep on doing it. So I'm not stopping that kind of mixture. So hey, if we got any artists, musical talented artists over across the pond, let me know. Send them my way, and we can work something out. So
well, I know for sure my buddy Dan Morgan, who edited the Rough House podcast, he's a professional musician.
Okay, well,
he's with a band.
Yeah, let's. I would love to have him on there if he's down for it, and we can figure it all out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, can I ask some technical questions?
Please do.
If there's anyone listening to this going, I'm sure I could drop my own comedy album.
Yeah.
How difficult was it? Was it just as easy as just recording it and then dropping it? Was it more to it than that?
Well, it was difficult the first album. The first album was very hard. Right. The main thing is not knowing what we were getting into and what we had to do to get the album out. We had to come up with a company name. So I know that sounds like very minimal in this, but it's important because you can't release an album without a company name. And we got to that portion and said, and they said, "Hey, who is this? Who's dropping this album?" And we kind of looked at each other and said, "Damn, like who do we have?" And that's how Be Positive Productions formed. It formed because we needed a company name, so we just picked it, and I
love that as a company name. It's so cool.
Thank you. And I think the other challenges when you don't know what's going on is the first album was delayed by 3 weeks, just because the album cover had things on there that technically had to be registered on the album somewhere, listed somewhere. And, like little things like that you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't know. Wording, like I had on there, I said, I had all the artist name on the front cover, and then it said featuring. The guy messaged me back and said it was delayed because if you had changed the word from featuring to with, then that's different. So little technicals like that. The second album, the difficult part, the only hard part about it is if mixing and mastering, is making sure that the audio is good on the tracks that you put out there. Once you learn all the little technical stuff from the first part, you learn the new things about like actually working on the album. That's hard. But other than that, honestly, it's not. I'll tell you this: anybody can drop an album, and I would encourage people to do it. And some might say that dilutes the allure of releasing a comedy album to the people that are bigger than us. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like that's my art. There's somebody out there that wants to listen to what I have to say. You know what I mean? So, and there's somebody out there that want to listen to what other people got to say, not just the names out there. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's not hard. But it just know, give yourself some time. Just give yourself some time.
Yeah, I think like I have struggled with believing in myself for years. And when you listen to the people around you, sometimes you're a bit like, oh, you don't do things like that, or we've got to trying to persuade people to let you on a bill or to get you back again. And you've got some promoters are like, I love you, you're great, you're always going to be on our stage. And because with this industry, it's just like you just gotta persuade the promoters again and again and again, and some are assholes.
I know. I know.
There's one, right? He wrote this really long, and he's a well-respected promoter. Everyone, he's got like 3 or 4 really well-paid gigs, and he generally books people that have been going a long time, so they're really good nights, and he's well thought of. But he put on an advert, and honest to God, it was like an essay.
Wow.
And it was like, do this, do that, do the other. And then the very last line was actually scrap all that, just ask for a gig. Wow. And if you went through all the bloody hoops, which I did, so that's why I'm bitter about it, went through all the hoops, and he messaged back, and he just went, well, he clearly haven't read the message properly. It's like, well, I was reading off my phone, and it's you have to click more and more and more because it's on Facebook. I thought I'd got everything. To me, that's like, well, you're an asshole. I just went, okay, thanks for the opportunity. Even though I gigged for him, I'd smashed it for his gigs, which are pro gigs that I was a middle, tryout spot, so don't get bloody paid. And you're like, he knows this, and he's known me for years, and he still behaves like that, not just to me, but to others. And I'm just like, you're an asshole then, mate. Sorry. It's so frustrating being in an industry that treats people like that, which is shit. That's
exactly what I don't want. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trying to like get away from. That's why to me it's a much easier to give opportunity than to like take an opportunity. You know what I mean? I see more value out of like giving people, because there's so many talented people everywhere, and it's hard when we have to jump through these hoops just to prove ourselves, and really just do it ourselves. You know what I mean? We'll just do it ourselves, and that's the whole mantra. Would be positive. We create our own lanes, and like when you cut the middleman out of everything, things are always easier, right? They're always easier when you just cut that middleman out. And sometimes you need the middleman, but at this 90% of the time, all you got to do is take the time to learn it yourself, figure it out, and do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. Give yourself the opportunity. People will watch. They're going to watch you regardless if they tell you or not. They see you, so they see you. I do want to say shout out to Hugh. He listened to the album Fourth Wave Feminism. That's pretty dope. That album is that track is like in the middle of the old album, so he got
a fan there.
Yeah, I see that, man. I appreciate you, man. I wish I had a signed copy to give to you. I sent it his way.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yeah. That's dope. I mean, the whole album was really cool, and just to see people like actually like listen to it. That's dope. Dope.
I've downloaded it. I've
Oh,
downloaded it already
yeah,
because I didn't realize I've got Google Play and it's on Spotify. Me and Spotify aren't friends. I
yeah,
can't, and I
No.
need to when I listen to stuff. I need to be able to. I listen in the car or
yeah.
my headphones while I'm doing stuff around the house. But I've just seen it's on Google Play. I've downloaded it, which
Thank
I
you.
should have listened to before the show. But I
Yeah,
will be.
it's you'll love it. It's the whole thing, top to bottom. It's just I'm different on that album. I'll tell you that much. That's the only warning I'll give you.
That's fine, as long as you're not sexist. But
Oh
it's
no,
all good.
no, I'm not. But I'm going through heartache on the album.
I'm looking forward to there's one the good sex number 4 good sex. I'm looking forward to hearing that one.
Funny thing about that's my sister. That's my sister. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. It's funny. The quick story about that one is she recorded it at My Buddies, and that's the track that we use from My Buddies. And that night, before her set, I introduced her in a very crazy way. And so when this track starts, it starts with her saying, "That's why I moved out." so she's talking about me, what I said. So I think that's really, like a really cool part of that album, of that track.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
When I first put it on, I was like, "This is music." What?
Yeah.
Am I not? I'm aware of the fact that the British don't have that many comedy albums, and I was like, checking the name. No,
Yeah.
this is the. I mean, it's got his name on it. People are laughing. What's this?
It's true. That was a conscious decision too. I don't know. I just said, you know what? People are expecting comedy. And I told Dario, I said, what if we just started the album out with 2 tracks that aren't even comedy? You know, like just like, what if we did that? And he was like, okay, I think we could do that. And then when we heard the track, we were like, oh yeah, that's definitely number 1. That's got to be number 1. So it was. We rolled the dice on it, and I think we won. We won on it.
And you know what I love is that you did it anyway. And like with your last album, you're saying that you learn on the job. The best way to learn anything is by doing it.
Yeah. Like half the time I do anything I do in this comedy world, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask a question.
Go on.
I was going to say, Dario, before you became a stand-up comedian, what were you?
I just a retail worker.
Just a retail worker, bringing products to people's lives.
Yeah, that's all I did. I just worked in retail. I did retail for 20 years. So 20 years in retail, yeah. And man, like it's hard working for somebody like the corporate world. You know what I mean? Like that's just hard to do because no matter how much value you bring to the table, there's still a hierarchy that doesn't give a damn. You know, and it's rough. I mean, like kudos to anybody that works in retail because we don't get treated fairly. I don't care what anybody says. Like we just don't get treated fairly, and I did that for a long time. So that was I had to figure something out. That actually is what led me to comedy in the first place. So that's a whole story. But
I worked in retail for 10 years. I started off from the bottom, from part-timer to full-time, looking after Clark Shoes, men's department.
Okay.
And then assistant manager at James Baker, which is like a second shop. And then assistant manager at Neath Clark Shoes. I'm telling you my whole CV now. Right. And then I became a manager. I absolutely loved it. I loved working in retail. But this was years ago, so it was just before they started bringing in Sunday trading.
Yeah,
and I think and everyone became part-time and it was Sunday trading, and it is hard. It's so hard. People are mean, like customers would just come in. I noticed there was a sea change. Customers would come in and start talking to you like you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I think I'm ready to leave this industry now.
There's a crazy sense of entitlement in the retail world. Like, that's weird. Like, it's very weird.
Yeah. And do you know what? It's the richer they are, the worse.
Yeah. Oh my God, they are horrible. I mean, like, I'd rather deal with the broke people because, like, you just got. But
they're
like,
grateful, they're humble.
Yeah,
They're nice.
humble. They better be humble.
Yeah.
But the rich people, my goodness, they just got these egos, and it's like, just stop it, just stop.
Yeah.
My family had a carpet shop, and if somebody came in and they looked really, really expensive and posh, they want the cheapest product in the shop.
Yeah.
But there was one old boy, he'd come in and he had rope tied around his trousers, just for the UK viewers, like Compo from Last of the Summer Wines. And he sort of picked the most expensive carpet. And for the first time when he came in, we were like, yeah, okay. And then he just pulled out a wedge of £50 notes like a fucking gangster. He was like, let's do it.
Just licking them off, huh?
And we were like,
just go for cash.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I suppose he doesn't waste his money on decent clothes.
I can mess with that. That's cool. I like that. Harry Ray. And shout out to Harry Ray. They bought the album, I think, right? You said they bought the album. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Harry Ray. You bought us a cuppa. Thank you.
Hey, I'm a fan. Tell them to follow me. I appreciate all this stuff, the love and respect. That's dope. Not just for me, man, just for the artists. Like, those artists, that's a good thing for them, man. Like I said at the time, man, there were 16 people that went number one on June 19th, 2020 here in Chicago. And that to me is like, that's like a dream come true. Not just one, but 16 artists went number one. So, and then the cool thing is the first album, because the second album did so well, the first album went top 5 for the first time ever the very next week. So that's one thing that we don't even talk about. Yeah. So we got 2 top 5 albums in a matter of a week. So
wow, it's so exciting.
It is. It's like I'm telling you, this is all a dream come true. Like, this is yeah, dust my shoulders off. It's a dream come true. Like, I still can't even believe it. Like, this is.
And you know what? It's not easy because it's like me and Lucy now. We've been doing this show. I don't know. It's got to be 20 weeks now, something like that. Is it?
Yeah.
20 weeks, nearly
something
6
like
months.
a million weeks.
And it was so hard to get even just 51 followers on Twitch. Follow us on Twitch if you haven't already.
It's tough to do.
It's really hard. It's not just a case of, like, I like watching YouTube videos about eating whole food plant-based.
Yeah.
I've got my favorite YouTubers, about 3 of them, and they got like thousands of viewers. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do a whole food plant-based type channel, because you just think, oh yeah, I'll just chuck a video out there, I'll get a couple of thousand viewers surely. But no, it's just not easy to get people to watch your stuff, is it?
It's tough. It's tough to kind of have content that everybody will like. You know what I mean? Like, because there's, it's so many different minds at play. So it's tough. And even for me, it's like, damn, like, sometimes I'm like, all right, I'd rather put my energy somewhere else than trying to figure out how to get YouTube going. Right? But I mean, like, man, my next thing is I want a blue check mark next to my name on Instagram.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I want to do that. I'll be honest, I submit once a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Once a month.
You might want to up your game there a little bit.
Hey, I told people, hey, look, I see people on there that's got less than 1,000 followers and got the blue check mark. So it could be done.
It's hard, isn't it?
Right, what's your handle on Insta?
Dario D Comedy. That's my thing. I'm trying to get that blue check mark.
Yes, I'm fine. I'll have a look for you now.
Yes.
Right.
I'll have a look now.
We'll have a few more flowers. Don't you worry now. We'll get you 2 more.
Yes, I got you. I
We got you, as they say in the USA.
I love it. Whenever you message Dario, all you get back is, I got you.
Yeah.
It's like,
I can't follow you.
Yep.
I can't follow you. I'm already following you.
You're already there. Yep.
Oh, our Mother of Gremlins is awesome.
Yep.
Oh, you've got loads of followers. You've got 1.6 thousand followers.
And that
Awesome.
all happened this year, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Comedy online, it's you've got it. Everyone goes, oh, you've got to have an online presence. You've got to have an internet presence. You've got to be covered all the way over the socials, this, that, and the other. And you put all of your effort in, and then you get like nothing back, or you'll get some bits back. Yeah. And with Facebook, I particularly like how it'll say your profile had 5 views this week. Yeah. That's not likes. They're telling me that 5 people went. Oh, no.
No, you're right.
You're right. If they look like and they go, well, because it say views, not because first time I was like, oh, people have been viewing. Hang on, viewing isn't liking.
Yeah, right.
Viewing is people turning up and not liking. I don't need to fucking know that. Zuckerberg.
Yeah. I feel like if they view you enough, that should be an automatic like. You know what I mean? Like, it should be an automatic follow. If they view you more than 5 times, they automatically follow you. Like, that should be that's the rule.
You stop stalking. Stop stalking us.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's an automatic like. You know what I mean? Like, so like, you like me, I don't care.
Well, I started using TikTok just a little bit, but I started using TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'll do something funny, or I'd learn a really complicated dance, and I will get 3 likes.
Yeah.
And then I put a video of my cat sleeping, 390 views. So what they're saying is, can you get out of the way because we're trying to see your cat?
Yeah.
Cat's
That's so crazy. Like, I feel like I've had some dope content too on TikTok, and nothing happens. I'm like, what? Like what? Like how? What do I got to do? You know.
And then you see somebody else's TikTok, and it's just
again.
You see someone else's TikTok, and you're like, I literally just watched a minute of somebody pouring paint on something.
Yeah.
It's got like 1.4 million views. You're like, what?
What the hell was that? I mean, some of them are funny, but it's still like, come on, man. Like I work hard, you know.
Yeah.
Credit, but whatever.
Yeah. I think some people
I'll just get the cat and I'll just stand behind it and I'll tell the jokes. See if I can pull them in for the cat, but hit them down with my comedy.
No one's going to believe that cat drives a truck, Lucy.
Yeah, no, right. You never know. They might like it though. It's not whether they believe it or not. It's just what they like, you know.
Yeah.
It's the imagination of it.
It is like that phrase, throw some shit against the wall, some of it will stick, in social media form.
That is definitely what it is. It's just, you take whatever, throw it at the wall, bam, got a hit. Like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
I give people solid content that I think about. Maybe I need to stop thinking.
Yeah.
We had a really, really horribly sunny, sweaty, humid, just a horrible sunny day where like you couldn't even just breathe or think, right? And I noticed I was like absolutely dripping. So I filmed myself on TikTok with, in the background, the Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun. Yeah. And I just look down the camera and I just go, no. 300 views. 300 views for that. I spent 2 weeks learning a dance. Nothing.
That's life. That's TikTok life for you. TikTok life is for these millennial kids, these younger kids, though. That's what it's for. You know, they like that goofy stuff. Like we just can't. I don't know. I can't even do the goofy stuff in a goofy way. Like it just got to be. I don't know. I can't get on camera and just act goofy. Like it just.
Yeah.
It just got to happen. You got to catch me. You know.
What's my motivation?
Yeah. Right. What is my motivation to do this? Like to appease a 14-year-old kid? No, I don't want to. This is stupid. And for likes, no, I'm not doing it. Like, and you got to post every day. If you really want to be something, it's got to be an everyday thing. I can't do that. I can't. I'm too busy.
You've got lives to lead.
Yeah.
I was watching a TikTok video on how to do TikTok. I mean, for fuck's sake, how meta is that? And they said if somebody follows you, you follow them back.
Yeah.
It's called the etiquette.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying attention, and it went beep beep. So and so's following you, and I was like, all right, follow them back. All right.
Yeah.
Then they sent me, you can send a little message in house. Hi. And I was like, all right, hi, you know, but people do. Clicked on it, and I was like, excuse me, how old are you? And she said, 9. I was like, right, okay. Do your parents know that I went IT teacher. I said, do your parents know that you're using TikTok? Because there are some very not nice people on here. Promise me you're not messaging them. And she was like, no, thanks for saying that. My mum and dad know that.
Yeah, but tell them. Yeah. Do they know?
Don't worry.
Do they really know?
Oh my word!
I know, because I'm British and follower, because I feel really mean, but I'm gonna have to do it. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's sort of like we'll get, if someone calls you the wrong name more than 3 times and you don't correct them, that's your name for the rest of your life, or you move town. We can't do, because we're so British. How do I unfollow this kid? I'm like, I'll give her trust issues.
So you just click unfollow. Just click unfollow, Lucy.
Yeah, just follow.
It's a life lesson she needs to learn. It's a hard life out there. Unfollow. You're boring me, kid.
And then they do kid shit. They do kid shit, and it's like, come on, man. I don't got time for this. Like, this is this is stupid. Like, this is stupid.
When you do something worth watching, I might be back.
Yeah, that's a funny joke.
I don't wear makeup. I don't know how to. I'm absolutely like, I mean, it looks like a kid just been eating her makeup bag. And I could watch these TikTok videos of women doing that contour stuff where they face morph, where they go looking like that, and then within 1 minute they're like, hi.
That is kind of funny though. Like, that's kind of interesting. Like, 'cause I'm like, damn, that's really crazy. You really change your whole look up. You know, like, that's amazing. Like I said before, I was like, man, I couldn't be a person that puts on makeup. I couldn't take that time. I don't have that patience. First of all, I don't have that artistic skill. You know what I mean? Like, to do it that well. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Then the ones with the rainbow colored eyes and stuff. No, I can't do that. I can't.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That looks like hard work. That looks like art.
Yeah, that's hard. It looks hard to do. Like, and how do you? I don't have patience to sit here and do this. Like, or the what do you call it? Where you, like, I don't have the skill. Like, I can't pinpoint. Like, like that's doing a lot at once. You know what I mean? Like, that's doing a lot at once. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, don't show that bit where she's going.
Yeah, they don't show she poke herself in the eye. You know what I mean? Like, she don't see that. You don't see that part. You know, like.
No. Or you're just doing your mascara and you get one. I always get one dot on my nose by there, and I'm, for God's sake, and I smudge it, and then that's it. It's all over the bloody show. But,
honestly, the thing is, my only thing I worry about that's beautifying myself is making sure I put lotion on my face and that I brush my hair. That's it. Like, that's it. That's it. And my clothes not wrinkled. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't brush my hair. I'll get so much smarter than us. Right. We have to interrupt this because we have to review Maria Bamford, and then I have to go to a gig, but we have to let you go.
Okay.
It is Dario D Comedy on Instagram. On Facebook, people need to be just the letter B, Positive Productions LLC, thinking ahead, limited company. If in doubt, just search Dario Durham and you'll find the links that come up, because the man is prolific. And thank you so much for being generous and giving us all your time and making us laugh.
Absolutely. Thank you
all. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I thank y'all for every opportunity that you always give me. Both of you all, since I met you all, y'all been some of the best people that I've met, and like, we haven't even met physically. So anything that y'all ever need from me, if I got the time, it's all yours. So just say the word. I love to chop it up with y'all. Just keep here talking, and we can just laugh all day. But you just let me know. So thank you.
Oh, did you hear that, Sarah?
Thank you so much. Thank you for being so generous with your time. Yes, Lucy.
Sarah, he just invited us over to Chicago. Isn't that nice? Anything you need?
Come on.
Yay! I could do Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I like pizza.
Do you love me? We love pizza. We were there.
Yeah.
See you in the morning, is it? Will you
Yeah,
sleep
let's
on the
go.
couch?
I'll be here.
He's gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank
Right.
you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Pop, love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Oh,
Thank
love
you, Harry. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Everybody.
Thanks, Dario.
Peace.
Hey, Dario.
Oh my God! What a fantastic guest. Thank you so much for arranging that, Lucy. He's so good, isn't he? And I didn't like to mention before because I'm going to bring us down, but he was so gracious and lovely to rearrange because we had to cancel on the day. It was the Dead Cat Day. So
yeah.
So thank you so much.
He couldn't have been more gracious about it.
He's like the nicest person ever.
Oh, and he's funny.
So funny. I'm going to listen to the album now. I'm like all day. There's something I need to do. Oh yeah, listen to the album.
So I do a podcast, or at least a comedy format show, funny thing called Big World Small Talk. All we do is answer silly questions. That's all we do. And the one question we always ask our guests is, would you rather a flying horse or a magic carpet? His everything, every question we threw at him, I couldn't breathe. Like when he even started, we started going on about karaoke, and he's pretending to do Whitney Houston, and he's singing away. He's funny.
He's brilliant. Very, very, very. You don't get anywhere in 3 years if you're not funny.
No,
you just don't. And there's somewhere like flipping America, and it's harder in America than it is over here. I'm positive of it. Because and it's hard getting anywhere over here.
But a couple of my friends from America have said there are not as many comedy clubs in America as there are in the UK.
Really?
That's why they come over here. So, like, if you go to London, you could probably try and get onto a bringer on every night. But it's just, say if you go somewhere like Manchester, there's quite a few comedy clubs, and Edinburgh especially, not so much Glasgow, but there's just more opportunity in the UK than there are in America, even though there's a shitload more people. But we have to move on to Maria Bamford.
Yes.
Oh, can I just click the button?
While you click the button, Hugh Janis said, I mean, when we were talking about the makeup, he said, I'd end up looking like Frankenhooker. Can I just say that made me laugh, Hugh?
Oh, when I was 16 and I thought I was kind of gothic, I did.
Did you ever go to what's it called? Oh, not Little Shop of Horrors. What's the other one?
Rocky Horror Show. I went 3 times. Horror.
Yes, we did talk about it. Yeah. I went as well. Magenta.
I think once was in Swansea, so you never know. It could have been like sliding doors, darling.
It could have been. I reckon we were there. I could feel something on that night. I'm sure it must have been your force within that building.
Sorry, I was handsy.
And I was in my suspenders, darling.
They did.
Yay! I wish we could bring that back. It's really good. Anyway, right, come on, because we're going to finish a little bit early because we got gigs to get to.
I'm trying to believe in God because I know it gives you a good feeling, and I think it feels like, when you're a third world shanty town at night and you're terrified and you see the glowing logo of an international conglomerate in the distance and you just feel like, it's going to be okay. Someone's looking out for us.
Hey.
Because obviously there isn't an audio clip for the album that we were doing, but she does talk about large corporations in the comedy album, and that was a clip about finding God in large corporations. See?
Well done.
See?
Well done.
And I still have no idea how much of this stuff I can play without technically breaking the law. So 25 seconds.
was good enough. It was it. So I would like to ask, you're going to go first because I'm the one that suggested it. But before we get going with you, Lucy, did anybody on the chat, did anybody listen to the special, which is Maria Bamford's How to Win? What did you think? Put your comments in the chat. Lucy, what did you think?
Okay, so we're not grading our stand-up specials, but we're putting them sort of in order of sort of presence or sort of presentation. So we've gone from the Tiffany Haddish to the bang in your face to at the bottom Mike Biblio.
Bibiglia.
She warmed to her. And she's got that voice, and I do love a different voice. I like a voice that stands out, and she reminds me a lot of Celeste Stevens, our previous guest. How the voice sounds so delightful, then you listen to what she's saying, and you're like, "Hang on, did she just say that?" Very, very clever lines, good rhythm, really good rhythm and pace, and even though she makes it sound like she's musing, you know that is practice material, and that is really well written material, and that it wasn't just like, oh, I'll scratch my head, do the show kind of thing. I loved her working from home. I like the way when she was like, I worked for a big multinational corporation. I can't say the name of it. It's Disney.
Yeah. Doodly Goop. I can't say him because it's Disney. Yeah. It's Chuck and he worked in marketing.
His extension number is.
Yeah.
Even when like somebody shouted out and said that they were a comedian, because said, "What do you do from home?" I would imagine, this is me being very judgmental, but this is our show. We can do what the fuck we want. But I can imagine if a man if that had been a man, they would have been like, "Well, this is my show, fuck you." Whereas she went, "We should talk. I'm not very good."
Yeah.
There was do you remember one night you showed me an artist who, she's an actress, she stands up and she's got a really wispy voice. She talks a little bit, she's a little bit more higher pitched than
Rita Redner.
Yes. I found it very similar to that. You can just sit down and you just want to keep listening. Personally, I would have liked to have seen it. But for somebody, and then this is like, what with Dario, for their comedy to be able to work visually and just auditory shows the strength of the material.
Yes, that's a really good point. I love it. I love Maria Bamford. I can't even remember. I think I was trawling YouTube. I mean, that album is years old. It's got to be 10 years old. So she's even better now. And she's only the last couple of years. She had a sitcom on Netflix, Lady Dynamite. And she's got at least 2 other specials. She's got Old Baby. And I can't remember what her newest one is called. It might even be called something like The New One. But what she does is she like on Twitter at the moment, because she's in America, I'm always too late. But you see it, she's working up new material because she's meant to tour this year, and I had tickets to see her in London. But I know, I was going to see Maria Bamford and Doug Stanhope this year, and it's like, God damn you, COVID. So it's been transferred to next year. But what she's doing is she's going on Twitter going, right, is anyone willing to sit and have me tell them jokes one at a time on Zoom? First one gets her. So she is trying out her material 1-to-1, and she's got a special on Netflix where it is in front of her parents. She dropped a free special on YouTube one time where it was literally just to the camera. And the material, if you say you want to see it, the material from that era of this album, there are I can send them to you. There are little clips, especially I love the Christy Coombs, and she's gone back to Minnesota. She's gone back to her hometown, and Christy Coombs is like, she's a shop assistant, and she's been really mean to her. I just love it. I love all her accents. I love it when she's impersonating her mum and dad. And I love that Jubilee Group one, the big corporation one. And the thing that got me was she's like, it's like working for a show, but it's the backstage part of the show. It's horrible and no one wants to watch unless you take a 3-hour lunch break. Then everyone's watching. I just look, it just makes me laugh, and I've listened to that album I don't know how many times, and the consistency makes me laugh. So if you love that, please, she's got loads online. Go and watch her other stuff. Old Baby isn't one of my favorites. I'm not keen on that one, but I did like the one after that. I might have bought it actually. Maybe it's not on YouTube. Maybe I actually chucked her some money after all these years, because she sells stuff off her website as well. She's another one that's just very much chill, and she just seems like a decent human being as well. Like even though she says it's
some comedians that come across quite conversational, and then you got sort of, so like, and this is not being conversational, it's not a disservice, but conversational is still funny. But like with Dario O'Brien, he'll take you on a journey through where you'll hear everything and everyone. And then you've got Jimmy Carr, which is just bang, 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 bang.
Joke,
You hear her conversational, but actually you break it down, they're all one-liners.
Oh, absolutely. And like what you're saying with the rehearsal, there is no real, I like when she breaks away these, I'd say hecklers. When I listened to it again today, I was like, she had like 3 hecklers, and they weren't massively original, these hecklers, but they weren't mean either. So they clearly felt comfortable enough in her audience to speak up. But like you say, she was like, oh, okay. And so it was like made it better for the whole show than if she'd be like, shut up, it's my show. It was really good. But yeah, I really I think she's totally relatable, because there's so many comedians, especially when you start comedy, they go, oh, you shouldn't mention your day job. Don't mention your day job because comedy's meant to be your job, right? And I'm like, come on, we're not guys. Well, she talks about when she was a temp, and I like that she was talking about the cake, where they were giving out the worst part about being a temp is when no one knows your name. So it's like, oh, it's the happy birthday, and they're like, oh, do you want some cake? And she's like, temp want cake. like she's just some sort of troll that's been working in the coal mines and she's been offered cake. I love that bit, and I like, she's quite political, but on a preachy way. I've noticed quite a lot.
Think about how old this was now. This is not this is one of her first. And she said, I'm quite proud of my country, but then again, I'm white and rich.
Yes.
So she was addressing white privilege how long ago?
Yeah, at least it might have been longer, might even be long. And that wasn't her first album. Her first album was the Burning Bridges tour. And if you're interested in comedy, it's worth listening to just to hear the progression. Because I would say that's the first album where she's talking about sex and, being a woman, all that common stuff that a lot of people talk about, and that she's developed so much all the way through all these new albums. I fucking love her. I think she's brilliant. Yeah, I think she's not and her album, she always tends to talk about political stuff in there. Currently she's talking about mental health because she's got mental health issues herself, and has come from a family with mental health issues. And it's just so relatable. I think she's brilliant. And also, I noticed every bit is like 2 to 3 minutes. So it felt fast, and it's a new thing every 2 to 3 minutes. It's like a whole new set, and jokes all the way through. It's brilliant.
I just reached over to move a cable and I think something's going to fall over.
We nearly made it. We got so far.
I was like, I can do this and nobody's going to. Totally getting away with it. I'm not getting away with this. I'm not getting.
Oh no. That's a shame, because I think whatever that was, your screen has stopped jittering. It's been jittering all the way through, and now it's smooth. So I don't know what that was. If you press that cable in further.
All it was just there was a cable. I was gonna, because remember I tried using my phone as the camera, so I had a tripod set up, and I tried moving it. I don't know how an inanimate piece of plastic and metal near my screen can make it not work, but brilliant. I love technology. In fact, why don't we become teachers? Woohoo!
Woo! Oh no, done that.
Oh, I thank you so much for bringing her to my attention.
Yay! I'm so really. I was saying to you,
She's never entered my Venn diagram.
yeah, she's not that well known, and I think I might have known. I might have seen her on. She's on the extras for the film Funny People, the Judd Apatow film.
Yeah.
I think it was called Funny People, and she's on the extras, and she wasn't in the main bit of the film. So that might have been where I was, but I'm pretty sure it's just a YouTube spiral one day and came across it. But yeah, thank you. It's always stress. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how stressful it is recommending like your favorite. Like she is like one of my favorite, I'd say my number one favorite comedian. And the stress of that, and I'm like, oh God, if you're like, I can't believe you made me sit through that. I don't. It's just so horrible. So good. I'm glad you liked it. Enjoy the rest of her specials. She is fantastic. Oh yeah, she played a teacher in Stuart Little too. Thank you, Hugh. Yeah, she's a voice actor, so she's in loads of stuff. All right, so that was Maria Bamford. I love her. Thank you. So who's next week, Lucy? Your turn.
Right, I'm gonna go out on a limb, right, and say, how about Wednesday night? We haven't got to watch it together like on technology, but what we can do is we can plan to watch it at the same time, and we can message each other.
I like it. Yes.
So if you're free Wednesday night, because then it'll be the night before the show, so it's all fresh. Yeah. But I want to do Victoria Wood audience with.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. I'm up for that. I think I'm free next Wednesday. I don't see any reason why not, but we can figure that out later.
I think it would be fun, because the thing is, I mean, I know you don't drink as much. Well, I mean, you don't drink hardly anything compared to me, but with something like that, I would insist upon a drinking game, and every time you notice a celebrity in the audience, drink, because you would need your stomach pumped.
You'd be plastered.
That's Johnson.
Oh my God, that's whoever it is. Because they used to have politicians, didn't they? Yeah. Didn't they used to have politicians in the audience as well of those shows?
If you were a good name, you could get in.
Yeah.
That's how and they were. Oh, bollocks.
Oh, I can't do Wednesday then. But we can do it in the day though.
Yeah,
I can't
true.
do a drinking game, but we can do it in the day.
We'll
figure it out. Thanks, Ray. Thanks for sorting out my diary for me.
Sorry about that. Thanks for ruining all that, bloody Ray. Oh, fun fact! I went to London on the weekend with my friend to see her dad. He's not been very well, so we didn't really go anywhere or do anything. Mm-hmm. But Saturday night, it wasn't live with Ig, but once we'd finished our dinner, I put on Ig's quiz, and the three of us played Ignacio's quiz together.
Oh, fun! It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was just a fun little interlude, instead of us just sort of sitting there and going, "Oh, how's the weather?"
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap it up pretty soon, but it's gonna be an audience with Victoria Wood. It is available on YouTube in one straight long file. You haven't got to watch 17 parts or anything like that. It is just Victoria Wood. I believe it's 1986, but if you put in Victoria Wood, thou shall find it. And before we go, I always say give big leg to our Spotify listeners, but actually people listen to Apple Podcasts more than Spotify. So if there are any podcast listeners, I want to say a big hello. And Houston, we do not have a problem, because most of our listeners are in Garland and Houston in Texas. So a big all our Texans listening. I mean, most of our listeners are women, but if there are any big old Texas cowboys listening, it's at the Sink Girls on Twitter. Yeah.
Send pics, not dick pics though.
No dick pics at exactly the same time.
Have a.
Oh no!
Wrong way. It's not me that gets it wrong.
I'm all of a fluster. But we're going to say goodbye. Thank you ever so much. Let's have a look. No, too much. It's like being at Edinburgh. We're deciding how much to watch. Ray, do not ever be stressed. You are one of the biggest supporters of UK online comedy. You are, the fact that you watch our show regularly is an honour.
Yes.
So thank you very much, sweetheart. And there have been so many of our guests that have personally thanked you. And if anything, Forza Crowd not being on, well, that's opened your doors.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would have been Thursday tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forza Crowd, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks also to Hugh. You were here for a long time as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hugh.
To everyone that's listened or taken the time, we really appreciate it. If you can give us a follow or recommend us to a friend, if you can recommend any guests, because we've got 2 and then we've got to start booking some people. We got Ali Hancock next week and we got Luke Honorati in a couple of weeks' time. So some great guests coming up. So in the meantime, that's just for us to say thank you and goodbye.
Thank you very much and goodbye. Absolutely delightful to spend another evening with everybody. Bye.
Thank you.